The plane is, I believe, owned by a NASCAR driver. So we'll talk into it. Let me just play this news clip.
To be a plane crash in North Carolina. So if we can go ahead and take that live in the moment as we look for more information. Right now, this is about as much as we have. But this plane crash is in Statesville, North Carolina. So I'm going to go ahead and look up.
Statesville, North
Literally
Carolina.
just popped up in the moment, not finding a whole lot of information. But you can see their crews on the scene of this particular crash. I'm looking at it with you as that smoke is coming from that structure at the moment. Fire crews there are looking to extinguish this as well. We don't know exactly who or how many people were on this crash or any extent of injuries at this particular time. But let's see if we can find some reports and then also some information put out by officials in that area. I'm going to go ahead and start looking.
You couldn't pay me to get on these small planes, man.
I've
been telling you guys,
out
nah.
of Statesville, including, if we can do this, pulling up a map exactly of where Statesville is in North Carolina, so that people have an understanding of where that is. As you see the crews there, emergency crews on the scene in the moment. Let me see something.
Yeah, Biffle. I don't know if he's on the plane, though. They say the plane is owned by him. So the people are wondering if he was on the plane or family or relatives and stuff.
Okay, I do have a bit of information that's coming in from our ABC affiliate there in the area, WSOC. And these crews are apparently on the scene of this crash at the Statesville Regional Airport. That is where this is currently. There has not been any additional information that has been made available thus far. But that is new as they just panned out so you can see it for yourself. This crash is there at the Statesville Regional Airport. You're seeing, let me see if I can read any of these others. You're seeing more crews, a state trooper, so state police that are there on the scene at the moment. They are just arriving there after those fire crews. You see EMS official there in that black truck. Fire crews there is our camera crew there on the scene. Zooms in and you can see the remnants of that plane that has crashed there. I don't know if that's on the runway or not far off of a runway, but clearly it did not either make it far from the airport or it was coming into the airport. That information we don't quite know just yet, but we're going to keep this on for right now and try to look up some more information in real time. And as I get that, I will be sharing that. Again, if you're just now joining us on air on this stream, this is the scene of a plane crash in Statesville, North Carolina. And let's see here so I can pull it up for people. Yeah, I am. It is north of Charlotte, for those who are not familiar with its location.
Go through that's weird. Wow.
All right, so I have it pulled up there at the moment, and I'm monitoring information. Let's see if we can get something. And if you're looking at the area at the moment, you can kind of see there, it appears to be, well, we have the map there, just wanted to show you where Statesville is here at the moment. It looks like the feed just came down too, but it's clearly north of Charlotte in that vicinity there. You could kind of see at the moment that it looked like beyond the smoke that there was a little bit of fog in the area. It's unclear though if that would have played a part in the accident or that crash. Again, we're still going to be looking for information. There were crews there on the scene with our affiliate there, WSOC. However, that picture has right now come down, so we don't have a live shot to show you at the moment of this crash at that Statesville Regional Airport. If it comes up, when it comes up, of course, we will queue that back up. But for right now, we do not have that up. They just took it down, and we are expecting to get more information as we go through. And I'll be able to kind of look up some things here too from at my station. But for right now, I think we're going to go ahead and pivot a little bit just because we are waiting for that shot to come back up, and it will give us a little bit more time to get some more intel into what is going on.
Welcome, one and all, in here, out there, Mr. and Mrs. and all the ships at sea.
Sorry about that, guys.
To the Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Cole.
Let me start out some other videos, too, we have here.
On Thursday, December 18th.
And Joe, what we know about that right now is, again, on December 18th, the FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board will investigate. The NTSB will lead the investigation and provide any updates. So at this time, as we're reaching out to contacts, it's very difficult to get any more information because now they have to report to the FAA and let them respond.
And this is in addition to the information we got from the city of Statesville about 30 minutes or so ago that it was a Cessna Citation plane that was built in 1981. That's a small private jet, ranges about 1,500 miles, and it seats 7 or 8 people. Now, the FAA is telling us that they can't confirm who was on board at this time. They are directing us to local authorities, so we will continue to check in with the Statesville Police and the Highway Patrol about that. And we're also being told that the FAA will post a preliminary accident and incident report online the next business day, so we should expect that tomorrow. I know there's likely going to be a press conference in the next half hour or hour, but probably.
So there's a lot going on. I'm sorry, guys. I was trying to isolate. Connection was kind of crazy. So there's this article that I found. I'm going to show you some more pictures of the scene, but a lot of people are talking about the plane that crashed near. Appears to be a Cessna Citation that is owned by semi-retired NASCAR driver Greg Biffle. Let me put that here. Greg Biffle. Around 10:15 a.m., the aircraft crashed while landing. Let me show you this video here, too.
Plane just crashed at Lakewood. A plane just crashed at Lakewood. It was flying from this way. It was way too low. Huge explosion. God. Plane just crashed at Lakewood.
We start with breaking news from Statesville. Very scary scene there. A massive presence of first responders on the scene of a plane crash, as you just heard. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Fox 8 News at noon. I'm Madison Forsey. This is what we know at this hour. That scene is unfolding at the Statesville Regional Airport. The plane, that crash happened around 10:15. It appears it happened during the small plane's landing. Now I want to show you more video of that crash there. Massive black smoke. Now, we used documents from the FAA and NC's Secretary of State's website to find out that plane is owned by GB Aviation, a company owned by former NASCAR driver Greg Biffle. We still don't know at this hour who was on the plane, who was flying the plane, or where it was coming from. We also don't know what caused this crash. It remains under investigation, but again, a plane has crashed at the Statesville Airport. We're going to continue to follow this story and bring you the latest both on air and online.
So there's going to be a press conference coming up. That's on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. I wish all this crap would stop popping up. Okay. So the Federal Aviation Administration is en route and will be investigating the incident. The Iredell County Sheriff's Office is assisting the investigation alongside the North Carolina State Highway Patrol. They describe the aircraft as a small passenger jet. That plane appears to be and belong to, owned by the semi-retired NASCAR driver Greg Biffle, according to the FAA paperwork. It's unclear who was on board. Flight tracking data indicates the Cessna was bound for Sarasota, Florida. So we have a press conference about to happen in a bit here. Have the live feed on the bottom right-hand side corner.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay.
Crazy. Those small planes couldn't pay me to get on them, man. There's just too much craziness happening and going on. This is the airport right here. Incident at Statesville Airport. We can confirm the aircraft incident. Let me see if there's any live feed of this crash site. See a couple of news stations at the press conference.
Yeah, I'm gonna set up right there. Okay.
Okay, I think we have a better view of
The Statesville Regional Airport, we know a plane was trying to land. It was around 10:20 this morning. You can see a number of the crews getting set up there. We heard Larry talk about the rainy conditions there. We are hoping to get more information as this continues. But again, live pictures right now from the Statesville Regional Airport, where we know a plane crashed this morning around 10:20 as it was trying to land at the airport there.
We are expecting an update from airport officials there in the next couple of minutes. Can't guarantee it will be on time, but stay with us here on WCNC Charlotte as we continue on air with this coverage. From what we've been told, this was a Cessna Citation, a small private airplane aircraft. It can hold somewhere between up to 9 to 12 people. That gives you some indication of the seriousness of a plane crash like this. At this point, way too early to have any idea of what happened or why it went down. But when you start talking about a plane like this and the possibility that up to 9 to 12 people were on board, it could end up being a somber day there for the folks here in Statesville and across the Carolinas.
And we do know that the FAA is there. They've already started their investigation, so hopefully we will get some more details once this news conference does begin. Again, it was scheduled to begin at 12:30. We will see if that happens. Of course, we will have live team coverage for you right here on WCNC as well as on WCNC Plus as we are working to get more information about this plane crash at Statesville Regional Airport this morning.
Folks, it is important to be as transparent with you as possible, while at the same time being as accurate as possible and making sure we're rigorous with our facts that we come on the air to tell you about, because we take that responsibility seriously. That's why we are telling you what we know from public information, from public data, from FAA records, and that is that we have been able to find out that the Cessna Citation is owned by GB Aviation Leasing LLC, based out of Mooresville, I believe. It is a company that is owned by NASCAR driver Greg Biffle, a widely known, popular name in NASCAR circles. You don't even have to follow NASCAR to know that name. We also know the address of that company matches his house as well. That said, again, to be blunt and as transparent with you as possible, we do not know, we cannot confirm who was on this plane.
Correct, and hopefully we will get that information, but until we know for sure, we aren't able to take any liberties because it's just information that we simply don't know right now. Again, part of our research and news gathering process, working to get more information, and we can only get that from the officials there in Statesville. Again, we can see they are beginning to set up, so hopefully this news conference will begin momentarily. And again, of course, we will bring that to you live.
Control room, roll with me here. Let's bring in Larry Sprinkle. He is standing by. Nobody knows the area as well as Larry Sprinkle. Proud to have him as part of our team for as long as we have. Larry, first of all, speak to the weather. We do not have any idea or indication that weather was an issue here, but we know it's raining out there. Just speak in the last few hours, sort of the conditions that pilots were facing.
And we'll, in fact, have the radar. We'll take a look at our weather computer. We'll show you what was going on at that time from the radar perspective. And we kind of froze this at about 10 minutes after 10 this morning. There was really no rain in the area. There was some patchy fog. Visibility, we look back, visibility was somewhere around 2-mile visibility. So I don't think weather had an impact, although we're not sure at this point. The FAA will certainly examine that after we get more details coming in. So once again, visibility was about 2.5 miles. There was no rain in the area. Winds were light. They were about 5 to 10 miles per hour. So weather definitely was not a major impact at the time. There wasn't any gusty winds. We didn't have any storms, no lightning or anything like that that certainly threatened an aircraft. And we didn't have any rain to obscure the visibility. Although once, you know, if you're at elevation, making an approach from a couple thousand feet, the sky was, you had clouds in the sky. You may have had some light rain at that altitude, but certainly no major impact.
Larry, sorry to cut you off real quick. We're going to listen in and see if we can get some information from this news conference.
All right, my name is April Nesbitt. I am the Public Information Officer for the City of Statesville. We're going to provide a short briefing of the incident that happened this morning. At the end of this briefing, we will not be taking any questions. Just want to give you the heads up on that. So I'm going to introduce you to Ron Smith, City Manager for the City of Statesville.
Good morning. My name is Ron Smith. I'm the city manager in Statesville. To my left is John Ferguson, our airport director. Jody Smyer, he's with Iredell County Emergency Management. Chief David Only, police chief, and Chief Glenn Curfew is our fire chief. So we don't have a lot to share this morning, as this is still an active event. But I just wanted to let you know that the city did respond to a crash here at the airport this morning at about 10:15. It's been a multi-agency response. We've had city, county, state, feds are here. So we have had, again, everybody is here on site at this point, and we anticipate that this is going to go on for quite some time. Since we don't have a lot of information to share today, and since this is evolving, either the city or other agencies will take the lead in putting out more information as the day goes on. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to John Ferguson, our airport director.
Thank you. Good morning. Like we said, approximately 10:15 a.m., we got a report of a corporate jet that crashed off the end of the runway on the east end. When actually I came out, it was already fully involved. We've had multiple agencies, as you said, come. The FAA arrived about 12 o'clock today. They're taking over the scene. They're taking over the investigation. We have no information on any cause. The airport now is closed until further notice. It'll take some time to get the debris off the runway to get it safe again. At this time, I'm also still don't have any other information than what we've already said. I'll turn this over to, go ahead, you do it.
Again, we'll provide updates as soon as we have them, either be us or other agencies. And if you have direct questions that you want answered, you can email those to me, and we will try to get these back to you as soon as possible. Again, my name is April Nesbitt. It's ANESBIT @statesvillenc.net. Thank you all.
No number of people on the plane right now?
And did it happen during landing?
All right, folks, you've been listening to officials there in Statesville giving us a brief, although helpful update about the situation there. A few nuggets that we've got from that small, short presser. For one, we know that it now happened around 10:15, a little earlier than we expected. And so far, and this is what happens in plane crashes, you have a multi-agency response within an hour. We're a little less than 2 hours into this, and they said already they have local, state, and federal responses there. The FAA showing up at the site by noon, a little over 30 minutes ago.
Correct. We also heard from the airport director there saying that the FAA, again, taking over this investigation. No info right now on the cause. As you may imagine, this is going to take some time. The airport, of course, there in Statesville is closed until further notice. They said they have to get the debris off the runway, but they received a report of a corporate jet that had crashed on the east end of the runway around 10:15 this morning. So going to be a long day for the folks out there investigating in Statesville. And as we get more information, of course, we will bring that to you live here on WCNC Charlotte.
And we also know a lot of you are just joining us literally by the minute to be updated as you hear about it and see it on your social media feed. Just to recap, we know a airplane went down at the Statesville Regional Airport a little after 10 this morning. It's an airplane that we know is registered to the company belonging to Greg Biffle, the NASCAR driver. We know that as well. Julie Kay standing by with information she's been learning in the newsroom. Julie.
Yeah, and we just got that updated press conference, and the FAA just got back to us confirming a Cessna C550 crashed while landing at the Statesville airport. So this happened, we just learned, around 10:15 a.m., so a little earlier than we originally thought. And as our anchors mentioned, flight records show it's owned by a private North Carolina company, GB Aviation Leasing LLC, registered to Mooresville. The company has one contract on record, and it is with retired NASCAR driver Greg Biffle. Now, the Statesville Airport is owned by the city and often provides aviation facilities for several NASCAR teams. But again, we cannot confirm at this point who was on board that plane. We do know the plane itself is a small corporate jet, also known as a Citation II. We also know the NTSB is going to lead the investigation, and we're hoping to get a preliminary accident report from the FAA by tomorrow. But Ben, Lisa, as we just heard, they are on scene actively right now, cleaning that debris, figuring out more information. It's going to be a long day. That Statesville Airport is, of course, closed, but we know that those scenes are actively investigating right now. So unclear when we're going to get that information.
We know, Julie, that it's going to take some time, of course, because it's just happening. This is very much a developing story, and they want to be very thorough with their investigation before they release any more information to us. So again, as you said, going to be a long day, and as we get new details, we will certainly pass them along to you.
We should go ahead and set expectations for you at home here. NTSB investigations usually take a little over a year. I think the average is about 14 months. So not only is it going to be a long day, but for folks there in the Statesville community, it's going to be a long few weeks and months ahead. And honestly, it could be well over a year before we get a firm answer about what happened today. I think back to completely unrelated, but we're talking about the plane crash in D.C. that happened in January. This morning on the news, we talked about how the NTSB will get its final report out sometime in the new year, a year after that plane went down. And we know they are especially careful with these investigations, and painstaking is the word that comes to mind when it comes to how they conduct themselves and the evidence that they gather at the scene, and making sure they come to correct conclusions and not fast conclusions.
For sure. I mean, they understand that people want to get answers. Of course, there are so many questions, but they have to be thorough. And as you said, with the NTSB, they will issue a preliminary report, but it will take at least a year or so usually for that full report from the investigators there. And again, this just happened within, we're two hours and about 10 minutes now into this. So we are working to get more information. When we do, we'll pass it along. We're going to bring out Larry Sprinkle back in now. Sorry to cut you off, but we wanted to get that information from the officials there at the airport.
Larry, you were mentioning that weather doesn't seem to have been a big issue then?
It's speculation that weather would not be a major factor. We'll look at, I have the radar once again on our weather computer to show you at the time that the plane crashed, approximately between about 10 and 10:30, precipitation, no precipitation. Looking at visibility at the time, the visibility was about 2.5 miles at the airport there in Statesville. That wouldn't be a factor. Winds were light. There were about 5 to 10 10 miles per hour at the surface. Now, as far as at elevation, at a couple thousand feet up, making the approach into the airport, basically the same. It was clouds and some fog. Winds were anywhere from about 10 to 20 miles an hour. That should not be a major factor. I mean, these are a durable. The Citation is a very durable plane. It normally could handle 2 pilots and
handles
8
far more.
passengers. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's a plane. It's a type of aircraft that's used quite often in corporate jets. As speculation once again that weather doesn't seem to be a major factor in this. So what would be the cause? We're certainly not sure. As you said, the FAA will be sending a team of investigators down there right now, and obviously no one at the airport had any answer to what's going on. But just a terrible tragedy there in Statesville, and obviously a lot of connections locally to folks who certainly are part of that industry.
Well, here's the thing. Though we still haven't confirmed who might be or might be not on the plane, anytime something like this happens, you're talking possibly up to 10 to 12 people on board that plane. That's going to touch so many lives.
For sure.
And so many families. And as I speak right now, there are family members who are getting the worst news of their lives.
Yeah.
And we got to keep the humanity as a part of this when we talk about it, because regardless of who it is, and we'll find out who it is, I'm sure,
right,
in the hours to come, but regardless of who it is, there's people whose lives who are permanently changed going forward.
And we're in the middle of the holiday season, so people are having thoughts of other things holiday related. But as you said, somebody's going to get some phone calls today with news that they were not expecting to hear. Again, another reason why that investigation has to take some time, why they must be very thorough, and why they won't rush to give information, even though they know that we, the media, and lots of other people have many questions surrounding what happened with this plane crash this morning.
It's a very close-knit community, the folks involved, in that situation. And as you were saying, Ben, there are people that we may know, and obviously people who are watching us right now on WCNC certainly are aware of some of the folks who fly that type of plane and been on the plane, and our prayers go out to the families of all those people.
Because again, we know it's owned, the plane, because we can go through some of our processes. We can look through FAA records, and we can see that the plane is registered by a company owned by Greg Biffle. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. It means exactly just that, is that it was owned by Greg Biffle.
Yes.
We've got Bria Smith. She's standing by. She was listening into that news conference. She's there on scene. All right, Bria, give us an idea. Assess the scene. Explain where you are as it pertains to everything else and what else is happening around you.
Yeah, Ben, well, we are here at the Statesville Regional Airport, and like you mentioned just minutes ago, we did hear from city and airport officials. I'm going to step out of the frame here so you can take a look behind me at that runway there. Now, what we do know is that a Cessna C-550 plane crashed while attempting to land at the Statesville Regional Airport around 10:15 this morning. Now, like you all mentioned, the FAA registry has the owner of the plane listed as GB Aviation Leasing LLC. That company is owned by former NASCAR driver Greg Biffle, and the address listed also matches his house in Mooresville. Now, Iredell County and the city of Statesville emergency response personnel are currently working this incident. Multiple agencies and crews are all hands on deck here. The FAA arrived on scene approximately at 12 p.m. investigating this incident. Now, one man we did have the chance to speak with, who works for a separate electrician company, tells us as soon as he saw a big cloud of smoke and flames, he knew the incident had to be bad. Another woman reached out to us earlier saying she and her family have spoken out on many concerns and difficulties regarding planes landing here at the airport. Now, the FAA saying they will post an incident report usually within the next business day of these initial incidents, and the National Transportation Safety Board is leading this investigation. Now, information is short at the moment, but as we continue to learn more, we will bring you updated information. Back to you guys.
All right, Bria Smith there in Statesville. Bria, thank you so much for that report. Stand by. We'll probably check back in with you in just a few minutes as we again working to get more information about this. We know that a number of you may be seeing things on social media, but we want to report to you the information that we get from officials that we know to be true and accurate. Again, regarding that plane crash this morning at the...
That's crazy. So they said they were landing, and I guess that's when they had problems and they crashed.
So we're going to sing things over to our Megan Bragg. She joins us in the studio now. And Megan, I know you're doing some verifying.
Yeah, and you know, guys, when something like this happens, you see a lot on social media. It's really important to take a breath and really focus on what we have confirmed so far. So I'm going to go through some of the things that I'm seeing on social media. A lot of these on X right now. This is what I saw, that the plane was registered to NASCAR driver Greg Biffle, and it has crashed. They're saying it's a Cessna 550. Well, we can confirm that right now. What you saw in that press conference was they were saying it's a Cessna C5500. And so it is owned by a private company, GB Aviation Leasing LLC. We do know that the contract on record is Greg Biffle, but this is the big one that I have been seeing on social media right now. Like I said, you need to take a breath and really have things confirmed. They are confirming, they were saying that he has died. Now, we do not know any of the victims right now. They have not been named. Like you saw, that press conference was very brief, very to the point. There's still a lot that is needs to be verified and investigated. So we are still waiting to learn more, but I'm going to be looking through social media and verifying for you all afternoon. So if you do have questions, feel free to send them into us, WCNC, verify at WCNC.com, guys.
All right, 12:45 right now. If you're just now joining us, we are following breaking news here on WCNC Charlotte. A plane crashed this morning around 10:15 at the Statesville Regional Airport. At this point, we know it was a Cessna Citation. It could carry between 9 to 12 people, depending on the configuration. The plane built back in 1981, and as you've heard alluded to, registered to a company related to NASCAR driver Greg Biffle.
Correct. Again, not a lot of information right now from officials. We don't know how many people were on board that plane. We've not yet received that information. We did get a little bit of information during that news conference that happened just about 15 minutes ago. I think we're going to play that for you so you can hear what we got from the officials there at Statesville Regional Airport.
All right, my name is April Nesbitt. I am the Public Information Officer for the City of Statesville. We're going to provide a short briefing of the incident that happened this morning. At the end of this briefing, we will not be taking any questions. Just want to give you the heads up on that. So I'm going to introduce you to Ron Smith, City Manager for the City of Statesville.
Good morning. My name is Ron Smith. I'm the City Manager in Statesville. To my left is John Ferguson, our Airport Director, Jody Smyer. He's with Iredell County Emergency Management. Chief David Only, Police Chief, and Chief Glenn Curfew is our Fire Chief. So we don't have a lot to share this morning, as this is still an active event, but I just wanted to let you know that the city did respond to a crash here at the airport this morning at about 10:15. It's been a multi-agency response. We've had city, county, state, feds are here. So we have had, again, everybody is here on site at this point, and we anticipate that this is going to go on for quite some time. Since we don't have a lot of information to share today, and since this is evolving, either the city or other agencies will take the lead in putting out more information as the day goes on. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to John Ferguson, our Airport Director.
Thank you. Good morning. Like we said, approximately 10:15 a.m., we got a report of a corporate jet that crashed off the end of the runway on the east end. When actually I came out, it was already fully involved. We've had multiple agencies, as we said, come. The FAA arrived about 12 o'clock today. They're taking over the scene. They're taking over the investigation. We have no information on any cause. The airport now is closed until further notice. It'll take some time to get the debris off the runway to get it safe again. At this time, I'm also still don't have any other information than what we've already said. I'll turn this over to, go ahead, you do it.
Again, we'll provide updates as soon as we have them, either by us or other agencies. And if you have direct questions that you want answered, you can email those to me, and we will try to get these back to you as soon as possible. Again, my name is April Nesbitt. It's ANESBIT at statesvillenc.net. Thank you all.
And again, that was that news conference held within the hour there at Statesville Regional Airport regarding that plane crash that happened this morning around 10:15. As we know, a plane was attempting to land there.
We can tell you as we were listening to that, we did get confirmation from the Iredell County Sheriff's Office that in fact multiple people have died in this plane crash. It was widely assumed, given what we know about the nature of the plane, given what we know about the nature of the crash, what we've seen. But the Sheriff's Office now confirming multiple deaths in that plane crash. As of right now, when it comes to plane crashes, a commercial flight will keep a passenger manifest, is what they call, and that's a running list of every single passenger that was on board a plane. And so after a plane crash like that, somebody, even if it's not shared with the public, will have a list of everybody who was on that board. Keep in mind, when it comes to private planes like this, commercial charters like this, it might not have an exact list of who's on board, which might make it slightly delayed in terms of what we know about who was on officially and why they might have been there. So just wanting to set expectations there that when it comes to private planes like this, it's a little different as far as the records that are kept.
And what we know based on this type of plane, we know that
you can have a single pilot on those as well.
Yes.
I'm not sure exactly the configuration, but a Cessna C550 obviously is one that was identified. And then obviously the question is, could weather have played a part? You know, could have been a thunderstorm, could have been fog. But at the time, it was relatively stable. There was some fog in the area, ground level at the surface. Visibility was somewhere from about 2 and 2.5 miles. And there were no storms. There was no rain at that time.
Right.
And when you make the approach...
So what happened? Oh, man. What happened, dude? Let me see what else I can find in this plane crash. And the lady, I thought it said like did they say the lady said he was deceased? Let me pull it up. The aircraft crash in North Carolina has been confirmed as owned by the retired driver, Greg Biffle. Greg is the racing hero who personally piloted hundreds of rescue and supply missions in his helicopter. Really? I didn't know that. Across western North Carolina during Hurricane Helen. I didn't know that. He did a lot of humanitarian work, apparently. Unconfirmed reports from local media state that Greg and his family were on board. Damn.
This is similar to that. We're not sure this is not the exact plane at all, but it is a Cessna, something like this. And we were saying that, you know, maybe up to 10 passengers could be on there. We're not sure how many were on that flight.
Also depending on the number of pilots as well. Can use at times two, perhaps one. But these regional airports see things like this all the time. And they see, we've mentioned this is owned by NASCAR driver Greg Biffle, but they see them, listen, we've got a multitude of sports here in the Carolinas, whether it's NASCAR, whether it's one of our professional teams, and these people have oftentimes tremendous wealth and have planes that go with it. So an airport like this is often also very equipped to deal with traffic like this.
And particularly in that area, because there are a lot of that type of plane that fly into the Statesville Airport with all of the race teams based within the area. So they use the Statesville Airport quite often to make those landings. And they're very well prepared for it. We certainly have spoken with our reporters up there, and some of the reports coming that obviously the airport can handle that type of flight.
And certainly this type of view, I mean, just the ease of airport like that, as opposed to Charlotte Douglas, which is much larger. You have more of the commercial aircraft going in and out of there. So we will continue to follow this story. Again, if you are just joining us, the breaking news that we're on top of right now, a plane crash this morning, the plane attempting to land at the Statesville Regional Airport around 10:15 this morning. We do know.
All right, exporting this into Google Earth, you can see this is crazy. Seesaw up and down flight path. Oh. So I didn't get far. This is a flight path. Took off and came back shortly after. Here's an image that Capstar posted too. Let me open this and show you guys. They didn't get far at all and they had to come back. Yeah, they must have had some trouble, I guess, after takeoff or during takeoff. And they were on their way to Sarasota, Florida, is what's being reported. Foggy, cloudy, misty rain. 2.5 mile visibility. Damn. Is that we just had? Oh Lord.
I mean, you do. I was younger.
Boy. I lost the live that I had. Let me pull up another one. Oh yeah, here we go.
They use aviation. It's standard from the smaller jets like this to even largers. I mean, there are a number of companies that lease jets out to fly them around. And, you know, obviously, once again, the season's over. But, the season's over. But, those individuals involved in that community are busy. They're always in conferences and flying all over the United States. And so, once again, we're not, we know that there are people watching right now who probably think that they may know someone. We don't know exactly who was on that flight.
We don't indeed. And just to your point, Larry, looking at the Statesville Regional Airport's website, they're saying this airport provides corporate aviation for Fortune 500 companies and for several NASCAR teams. So we know that they are used to seeing planes like this coming in and out of the airport there in Statesville.
Yeah, the airport was certainly prepared for it. It's not any fault of the airport at all.
To the point, though, you're making, we do not know who was on board the plane. And it might be that no one in particular knows that right now because private planes like this, corporate planes like this aren't required to keep the same passenger manifest as, say, a regular commercial airline or something like that, where they can tell you exactly this person was sitting in row, 15B. It's not quite the same. So it could be that information about particular individuals might come out a little slower than it typically would.
For sure. So we should not make any assumption. And again, once we get that official information from the FAA, from NTSB, we'll certainly pass that along to you.
Do we still have live pictures available on the control room? We do not have them available. We do have, we'll go back to this photo.
And once again, this is not the plane, but it's similar. This is the similar
We think it's important because
size,
we know when we say Cessna citation, that does not mean a lot to a lot of people.
For sure.
So we want to show you this as just a representation of we're not talking about a small two-seater plane. We're not also talking about a jumbo jet. We're talking about something like this.
Yes.
It's a corporate jet that can fly a team, whether it be a sports team or whether it be a corporate team.
There have been plane crashes carrying some people who were involved with NASCAR.
Very well known.
Some who were drivers and who were pilots as well, others not. Some were in management. But it's a sad situation. It's heartbreaking to know that this is our community. These are our people. We know some of these people very well, although no one has been identified at this point.
Regardless.
Somewhere someone is getting the information.
These are families, a week out from Christmas, getting ready to celebrate and instead getting news like this. Again, just the breaking news of the day so far here on WCNC Charlotte. A plane crash upon landing just after 10 o'clock this morning there at the Statesville Regional Airport. According to public records obtained by WCNC Charlotte, we can tell you that it's owned by a company owned by NASCAR driver Greg Biffle. That's as far as we can tell you at this point. This sort of aircraft, a Cessna Citation, has up to 2 pilots and can hold up to 10 passengers. We also don't know how many passengers it was actually carrying.
And we don't know the names of any of the passengers who were on board. We do know that the Statesville Regional Airport is closed until further notice as a result of this plane crash. We know that the FAA officials got there within the hour, so they have already started their investigation. And it's just going to take some time before we are able to get more details from them. When we do, of course, we will pass that information along to you right now. But they want to be very thorough as possible, can get conducting the investigation and then passing that information on to us. So it will be a long day, not only today, but for the days and weeks and months to come. It could be a year or longer before we get the final report on this crash.
So oftentimes the NTSB will initial just an initial report in the first day or two, but then the average investigation can take 12 to 14 months before we get a official conclusion of something like that.
And once again, just the general meteorological conditions, the weather at that time, there were no major issues. There was some fog in the area, but not heavy fog, some lighter winds, and certainly no rain or storm. So this is it's a calmer time of the year. Certainly there's no winter storm or any type of severe weather threat. So speculation that weather may have not been a major factor in this.
All right.
Yeah. We're going to keep our eyes on this situation here. Breaking news coming out of Statesville. For the very latest, you can tune in to WCNC Plus, the latest developments on this crash.
Crazy, man. Sound like a really good guy. Some people are saying, locals are saying his engine failed after takeoff and was trying to land but lost control. Wow. I didn't know he did all that humanitarian stuff, helping out. Wow. Sorry, I had connection problems. I guess Comcast is not fixed, apparently. Let's see, did they come back? Are they talking about this plane thing here?
We know that this is a small plane. It's a Cessna C550, also known as a Citation 2. It's a small jet, a small corporate plane. Usually seats around 9 people, though configurations can vary. And we do know that this plane was owned by a company in affiliation with NASCAR driver Greg Biffle, retired, of course. We cannot confirm anything about the plane. We do not know who was on it at this point. We do not know about deaths. We do have a map showing where this reported crash happened. We do know multiple deaths confirmed by
Iredell County Sheriff confirmed to our colleagues over at FMY just moments ago that there have been multiple deaths involved with this crash. We have no ID.
Okay.
There's no identification. We know that that is confirmed.
Okay.
We do have a map showing
exactly where this happened.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is really just heartbreaking news. And as you can see, this is happening right now. We are getting this information in within the last few minutes that there are multiple deaths reported here. But again, we do not know who was on this plane. We just know that the plane was affiliated with a company owned by Greg Biffle. So this is a look at the area, as I mentioned, Statesville Airport, just a couple miles away from the actual Statesville center of the town. And we do know that the FAA is on scene clearing this up. Of course, that airport is closed right now. We know that this airport is closed for now. We know that the FAA is on scene. They got there about an hour ago now, so they were on there pretty quick. I'm going to read you what the FAA has sent to us. Of course, we've been reaching out to every agency possible, trying to get some more information on what happened here. And so this is exactly what the FAA responded with. First of all, this information is preliminary and subject to change. But they said a Cessna C550 crashed while landing at Statesville Regional Airport in North Carolina. They said originally around 10:20 a.m. We now know it was a few minutes before that. This was on Thursday, of course. The FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board will investigate. The NTSB will lead the investigation and provide updates. The FAA, though, does say here they will post a preliminary accident incident report. They send us the link for where that will come. It usually comes within the next business day, but at this point, we do not know much information. NTSB investigations, I mean, we talked about this on air with Ben and Lisa. That can take, a year for those. So the long form investigation from the NTSB, I don't expect for a while, but the FAA, it could be as soon as tomorrow that we get some of those
We're hoping in a
preliminary.
couple hours. We know these things take time. They
Yes.
want to be
Thorough.
thorough
and accurate.
From what we've seen just on social media, we cannot show you those images, obviously for
Legal
ownership
purposes.
issues,
Mhm.
but it is a massive crash.
Yeah, and even we're going to show you this whole press conference. It was very short but very helpful in a few minutes here, but even in that press conference, you'll see one of the officials says engulfed in flames,
Yes.
which I think is really, if you've seen images that are circulating, assuming those are accurate, that is accurate to the statement that the officials are making about what happened here. So obviously a heartbreaking scene. And we're going to reiterate, just for transparency's sake, we're going to reiterate this information now until we get more information for 3 hours. And we are going to be in here telling you this over and over again until we get some more information. I mean, you've seen it. I just learned new information as I'm sitting here.
Right.
And so this is an active breaking news situation. So we're going to bring you everything we know. We're going to reiterate as much as we need to.
We are learning at the same time y'all are.
And yes, and we know we have people joining us every
Yes.
couple minutes. And so just bear with us as we get our bearings, as we learn more information.
Multiple crews are on the ground.
Yes.
Covering all sorts of area, trying to get, I mean, Statesville from, just for peel back behind the curtain, Statesville from here, our studio in West Charlotte, is a while. So we are trying to get everything in order and get people in the place to learn more.
Yeah, and we do have Bria Smith is already there. She was at that press conference that we're about to show you. Also, our Miles Harris is on his way, I believe, to get reaction from
Multiple photojournalists.
Multiple
our
photojournalists.
friends at FMY.
FMY is
Yes.
locked in. I know our Megan Bragg has been looking into some stuff as well. So let's play this press conference for you real quick, and then we'll break down some other angles that we have been looking into.
Chief, Statesville. David Only, Police Chief for Statesville.
When you step up, could you please just say your name again, just for folks?
Absolutely.
And I'm going to introduce them.
Thank you.
Yep.
At the end of this briefing, we will not be taking any questions. Just want to give you the heads up on that. So I'm going to introduce you to Ron Smith, City Manager for the City of Statesville.
Good morning. My name is Ron Smith. I'm the city manager in Statesville. To my left is John Ferguson, our airport director. Jody Smyer, he's with Iredell County Emergency Management. Chief David Only, police chief, and Chief Glenn Curfey is our fire chief. So we don't have a lot to share this morning, as this is still an active event, but I just wanted to let you know that the city did respond to a crash here at the airport this morning at about 10:15. It's been a multi-agency response. We've had city, county, state, feds are here, so we have had, again, everybody is here on site at this.
Yeah, guys, I'm gonna have to come back because I'm having like some serious connection problems. And I'll come back in a while, or if we get an update. I guess I'm just going to reset stuff and make some calls, try to figure out what's going on. All right, but thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you guys. And condolences to the people that passed away in the plane. Horrible, tragic accident. You know, I don't trust these small planes, man. Any little thing could happen, you know. All right, peace. Bye. Thank you.